In less than 24 hours of us being in Marrakesh, we were spat at, called the N word, and groped. So I guess it's a story time. This was us making our way to the restaurant, and a couple of minutes away from there, we were by the traffic lights. A beggar came through to ask for money. We didn't have any cash on us, and just as the lights went green for us to go, the beggar spat. He was aiming to spit at my friend who was in the front seat, the guy. So as the car was moving, when he spat, the spit ended up hitting my friend who was sat on the left hand side of me. I had like a little splash of it on me, but not as much as she did. So the night already started off with such bad energy. Now in the comments there were people saying, oh, the Moroccans were saying neri neri, which means wow. No, if you listen, my friend was saying nearly. What he was saying is we are nearly there. He was so excited to be taking us to this restaurant. Hence, we were recording the alleyway. So when we get to the restaurant, it would just be a lovely surprise of what it was like on the inside. I'm so grateful to my friend and the restaurant manager for going back out while we sat and ate dinner. We were just exhausted from like just that bit of the evening that happened, where the first bit, the spit, and then now the N words. That's why I did not react. I just thought it wasn't worth it, and also we're in a different country and just don't know how that's gonna escalate. And so the guys dealt with the situation the way that they wanted to, and as they should, and that ended. We had a lovely evening, as you can see in like the video here. We had a great evening. We danced, we made some new friends, we left. The following day, my friend gets groped. The following day was Eid as well. I think that she is in a better position to explain, but I was there when the groping happened, and that was, quite shocking. The rest of the trip sort of like left us feeling on edge and feeling like we wonder what's going to come out of the woodworks next. I travel quite a lot, and I've never experienced anything of such magnitude. I don't use the N word. I've never been called the N word. The people in my circle do not use the word. We don't use that word to refer to each other. So to be going through the comments and people saying, well, that's how you guys refer to each other. Well, I don't. And or that the guy had no idea what he was saying. To say that someone had no idea about what they were saying, but when asked to repeat it in the video, they couldn't, it means that they have an idea what they're trying to say.
Nearly. How are you, my brother? I know. What's that again?
I'm just going to leave it as that, but also say thank you to those who have been very empathetic about the situation. I've moved on. Of course, it hurts. But again, as we usually do, we just pick up and go.
This episode is somehow emotional and at the same time annoying, because imagine a situation whereby you went to the gym, to do some exercises and do some, weightlifting, and you just step out of where you are just to use the other instrument, just to, probably do some coiling and do some with the mindset that you're going to come back because you've done the setup that, if you gym, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And someone else came into the scene, it happened to be a lady, and it's like, oh, I was here. I just went to do something there. And then the next thing that will come out from this lady is the N word. And now the question is, what would warrant such? Because a guy is just trying to be polite. As you can see in the video, the guy is very polite. He's a gentleman. And he's just trying to be like, hey, what has warranted you calling me the N word? I just told you the reason why. And she happened to be a lady. That's the most annoying part of it, because what the guy would do next is what would be well pronounced. But the guy didn't fall for the temptation, but he was really not happy, and you could tell was so emotional about it. And he was like, this is what I feel the guy should have done. But let me not say it down. Let's go watch other videos I've put together and the reactions of people and what they feel the guy should have done. And I'll be right back so that we can begin the conversation. Credit belongs to everybody whose stitches clips I used in this episode. And when I come back, we shall begin the conversation. Please do me a favor, watch till the end and subscribe. If you love this great content, subscribe. I'll be right back.
I just got called the N-word. I was working out, as I always do, just minding my business. I needed to add a little bit more weight to the bar, so I went to a different weight rack to get some weights to add to the bar. When I came back, a young Hispanic lady was adjusting the bench that I was using, and I approached her and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm still using this, I'm not done." And she looked at me and she looked a little bit annoyed, and she said, "Oh, you're not done?" And I told her, "No, I'm not yet." And she called me a string of names. The only name that she called me that was offensive was the N-word. I paused for a second before asking her, "Did you just call me the N-word?" And she wouldn't look at me. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She didn't try to defend herself, but she didn't also double down. And so I asked her again, "I'm sorry, did you just call me the N-word?" And I'm moving, like she's trying to move around, and I'm moving in her way because address me. She didn't address me. And in the meantime, she was kind of putting stuff back the way that it was, but she was clearly annoyed. And I don't know what she said, but she began mumbling again. I couldn't hear her, and I couldn't read her lips because she had on a hoodie. I couldn't really see her face very well at that point. And so I couldn't guarantee that she wasn't still calling me the N-word. So I got louder and I told her, "Don't you ever call me the N-word. Don't you ever let that word slip out your mouth." Now, I'm sure y'all are probably thinking, why didn't you cuss her out? Why didn't you, drag her to hell and back? I'm one of the least violent people I know. I'll just put it that way. And I don't actually believe in matching energy. So I really didn't want to have any kind of confrontation or altercation with that young lady. But I draw the line of disrespect at the N-word. You can call me just about anything else, and I don't care. But do not call me the N-word. And this is just an announcement. This is a PSA. If you are not black, this is not just for white people. This is for all people who are not black. Do not use the N-word. You do not have blanket permission to go up to anyone and everyone and use that word. As a matter of fact, if you're not black, I don't know why you want to use that word. It doesn't make sense to me. And there's nothing you can say to make it make sense. If a black person has told you they're cool with it, that only applies to them. They have not the power to give you permission to call any and every other black person the N-word. PSA over. So I did say those words. I didn't want to get physical. Obviously, she's a lady and she was quite petite at that. And I'm not like super huge. I'm tall, but I'm not like, super stocky or anything. But I am a man, and I understand that in itself can be quite menacing. So I decided, the most I'm going to do is just raise my voice. I wanted to make sure that she could hear me because she had some earbuds in, and I didn't know if she had her music blasting to the point where she couldn't hear me or not. But I wanted to make sure she could hear me, so I raised my voice a little bit. I'm not a yeller, but I did raise my voice. And I also wanted the people around us to know, because I believe in public shaming. So everyone around us is going to know, you just called me the N-word. And she walked off. Like I said, she was mumbling under her breath a little bit. Couldn't make out what she was saying, but she never addressed me. And she just kind of walked off. But so I think I feel like my job was done. I'm okay. I'm proud of how I handled that because I was livid. I was actually very angry, and I got through those sets because of that anger. Like that frustration came out of me, and I took it out all on those weights. But yeah, please, I know that y'all are using this word amongst your group of friends, amongst your family. And the reason why I know is because it rolls off your tongue so easily when you're actually angry or when you're actually addressing a black person, especially one that you don't know and who has pissed you off. So my recommendation would be to stop using that word. Just don't use it. Then you don't have to worry about being in public because you caught the right one on the right day. I'm, like I said, nonviolent, so I wasn't going to put my hands on you, but do that with somebody else, and I can't guarantee that won't happen. And I I admit I won't feel bad. If it does come to fisticuffs, I'm just gonna look the other way.
Dear Hispanic community, I'm really trying to understand why y'all keep having this why is this such a difficult concept of can I use the N-word or not? If you're not predominantly black or of African ancestry, the answer is no. The answer is no. If you ain't black, don't say it. Like, why is this? And this man right here, Mr. Eddie, sir, I don't know what you were on, because no, if you're not black, don't say it. I think it was this person, like, if you're not using the hard ER, it's the same word, babe. It has the same meaning. If you're not black, don't say it. Well, then black people should stop saying it to themselves. Absolutely. We have internal trauma that we need to heal from our community. So until then, you don't get to hit me just because I hit myself occasionally. You don't. Period. Every community has their own slur. If you want to make it popularized, because everybody says that it's so popular, it's in music, make your own music then. Make your slur popular if it's truly what you want. But that's not what you want for a reason, which is why those who actively care about the black community don't want you to say it. But my cousin don't care, because your cousin knows you as a person and knows that you're not intentionally trying to harm them. That's lovely. That's wonderful. That doesn't mean that you're intentionally out here trying to harm all people. That doesn't mean that's what we think because we don't want you to say it. We don't want you to say it because it's a racial slur and we understand the meaning of the word regardless of how you mean it. I don't mean it racially. Anytime a non-black person says that word, period, to a black person or to a non-black person, it will always have racial context and undertones regardless of how you mean it. I never mean it racist with my homies. It always, every single time, will have some form of racial undertone or context, period, or you wouldn't use the word, you would use a different word, period. It's not because it's popularized. It's not because everybody and their mama uses it. It's not because black people use it, because then it would be a word that only black people use. All the black people are using the word, then it would be a word that only black people use. It's not that only the black people are saying it. That's the issue. So I'm confused as to how we keep having to have these panels and these conversations about a word that wasn't used to dehumanize you. That word, everybody globally knows exactly who that word was used to dehumanize and to target. And we also know that there are slurs for every single community, unfortunately. And unfortunately, most communities don't even have just one. Let's keep it $1.55. So if we want to talk about making stuff popular and it's because it's so mainstream, do that. But you don't want to do that. And we, if I'm keeping it $1.50, are working very hard to undo that. But it's very difficult because people like this man say, well, the N-word's not going to go away. No, because you keep saying it and passing it down. How can it if you're having panels defending it? The word's not going to go away. We're not asking for the word to go away. We're asking for you to stop saying it. Doesn't mean it stop existing. Doesn't mean... Like, I just don't understand why this has to be a continuous conversation. It's exhausting being black. I would not trade it for the world, I promise, but it is exhausting sometimes.
This got called the N-word. I was working out, as I always do, just minding my business. I needed to add a little bit more weight to the bar, so I went to a different weight rack to get some weights to add to the bar. When I came back, a young Hispanic lady was adjusting the bench that I was using, and I approached her and I said, I'm sorry, I'm still using this, I'm not done. And she looked at me and she looked a little bit annoyed, and she said, oh, you're not done? And I told her, no, I'm not yet. And she called me a string of names. The only name that she called me that was offensive was the N-word. I paused for a second before asking her, did you just call me the N-word? And she wouldn't look at me. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She didn't try to defend herself, but she didn't also double down. And so I asked her again, I'm sorry, did you just call me the N-word? And I'm moving, like she's trying to move around and I'm moving in her way because address me. She didn't address me. And in the meantime, she was kind of putting stuff back the way that it was, but she was clearly annoyed. And I don't know what she said, but she began mumbling again. I couldn't hear her, and I couldn't read her lips because she had on a hoodie. I couldn't really see her face very well at that point. And so I couldn't guarantee that she wasn't still calling me the N-word. So I got louder and I told her, don't you ever call me the N-word. Don't you ever let that word slip out your mouth. Now, I'm sure y'all are probably thinking, why didn't you cuss her out? Why didn't you, drag her to hell and back? I'm one of the least violent people I know. I'll just put it that way. And I don't actually believe in matching energy. So I really didn't want to have any kind of confrontation or altercation with that young lady. But I draw the line of disrespect at the N-word.
So what are you telling us for on the internet if you're not gonna do nothing about it? And I'm not saying that he should get violent or try to match her energy, because I actually think that that is the intelligent thing to do. I'm an advocate for people, especially black people with the reputation that we have, and flying off the handle and everything becoming so crazy and stuff. I actually am going to applaud him and saying that him keeping his composure and not being emotional and letting his emotions drive his actions is the intelligent thing to do. What I think he should have done is he should have alerted whoever it was that owned the gym that this happened, and he should have took it up with them instead of taking it up with us on the internet. Now, I'm very thankful that he took it up with us on the internet, because it gives me more of an opportunity to talk about something had I not been informed or aware of it. But people need to start taking action, intelligent action. The best way for you to solve for a problem is to bring visibility to it in person at the time that it happens, and let it be addressed accordingly. And if it's not addressed accordingly, then you start to escalate the issue. The one thing that I will say, and I didn't get a chance to read the comments on this one because I'm just reacting to it in real time. The minute that y'all sent it to me and I looked at the title, I said, let me throw this in a.
Yes, like I said at the intro, this is what I would have done, because Karens are everywhere. That's an example for Karen. Karen likes everything to go their way. Karen likes everything to just be exactly. They like to dominate. They like to be in charge. It's not bad to dominate. It's not bad to be in charge. But when you're in the space that is not actually for you alone, you are not the owner of the space. You're not in control. I mean, this is a public space that everybody can be in. So you comply. You try to be accommodative. You don't try to get on people's nerves by calling them names. No, that's not good. But for me, whenever I see people like them, I classify them as Karen, and I begin to record, because evidence is what will make you to win as a black person. That's a fact. If you can't record, whatever you say is not gonna be it's not going to be it. Nobody's going to listen to you. And when they do, they'll tell you, what is the evidence? If the cops were to be invited, they will ask you, what is the evidence? If the people around you, she's mumbling words, saying it quietly, others can hear. You can hear that she's probably calling you continuously, calling you the N word and saying all sort of words, right? But you can't prove it. You see? You can't prove it because others can hear. You are the only one that can hear, but you're not recording it. So if you had reacted and probably just, you will go to jail. As a man, especially a black man, you will go to jail. That is the reason why when you are fighting or making an argument, you must back your argument up with evidence. And that's why we have phones, we have everything now that you can use as a point to support your reaction, your argument, whatever the case may be. Next time, record it. When she stepped out of the place, the first time she called you N word, from that place, you pick up your phone because she knew quite all right she was still going to do it again. That's how they are, Karens. That's how they are. Just pick up your phone, record it, and of course, it can be proven. I mean, technology has advanced. The words, whatever she was mumbling, can be picked. And of course, you win the case. But if you can back it up with evidence, there's no need to just, because he was like, Brian will speak out so that people can hear exactly what she said. They are hearing what she said from your mouth. They are not hearing from her mouth. And some will support it. Some will like, oh, why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? They won't even understand what she had told you. You see, so that is why you must be smart when you're dealing with people like that. When you're dealing with people that are very, very good at profiling people, they're very good at putting you in trouble. You have to be extra smart. and beat them at their game. That's what I want to advise anybody. So I don't support violence. I don't support anything, but I support being smart, being intelligence, being smart at beating the people that want to put you in trouble. That's it. They want to put you in trouble, but they'll make it look as though you are the violent person because once you're a black person, that's what is obtainable where you are. So you have to be extra smart to beat them to the system. But hey, on my last note, you don't have any right to call anybody any word, especially when you're not a black person. That is the reaction of everybody. That's what everybody said. You have no right to say that because when you're saying it, you know exactly what you mean. And if someone does not like it, why call them that word? So, guys, but let me know what your take is. Let me know what your views are. I mean, what a lot of things are happening, guys, but mine is to bring to you so that you can see and we can begin a conversation. And we as blacks can be smarter on how to be to step ahead of them. That's the whole essence of this video: education, enlightenment, and how to be smart. Thank you guys for watching. I await your response, your view, your perception at the comment section while I respond to you. Thank you guys. Stay in peace, stay in love, and avoid trouble. Bye for now.